Hey now, I'm back with a very important tool to take your trading to the next level. It is not a magic indicator or the holy grail of trading. What I am about to give you is perhaps the most important element you can add to your trading routine. If you treat trading as a business, then maintaining a proper trading journal is an elementary requirement for all traders, from the retail to the institutional levels. After I show you the worksheet, be sure to stay until the end, where I will give you my 6 tips on how to apply this log to your own trading. And if you take trading seriously, then you better be a Traders Landing subscriber, or this can happen to your account. This is the official Traders Landing trading journal. I adapted it from my own trading notebook. This log can be implemented for any chart-based trading system such as Forex, crypto, options, stocks, indices, or any instrument that is bought or sold. There are many reasons to keep a trading log, and you can certainly find many of them on the internet. No one format is right for everyone, but this log arrangement is a generic version of a document that has served me well for many years, and I am going to explain how it works, how to make it work for you, and how to download it for free. Let's get into it. This trading log is a Google Sheets document, so the first thing you are going to do is copy it to your own Google account. When you open up the document, go to File, then Make a Copy, then click OK. Once that is done, my document will now become your document. The journal is designed to record a single market entry per row. I did this to account for multiple positions open in the same setup. I am going to briefly review each column and then go over some examples on how to populate the data. Column A is the position number, more on that in a moment. Columns B and C are the base and quote of the instrument being traded. The base asset is always listed first, and the quote is listed second. Column D is the URL to the screenshot of the trade. I take a screenshot of every deal after I exit the market. To do this, I used the TradingView Take a Snapshot feature. Click here and then click on Copy Link to Chart Image. After that, simply paste the URL into the journal. Column E is simple. L for long, S for short. Column F is where you enter the time frame of the chart you are trading on. The next 2 columns, G and H, is where you will specify the risk to reward ratio and the amount risked per position. Columns I and J is where you enter the trade entry date and trade entry time. This is followed by columns K and L, which is where you enter the date and time the trade closed. Column M is the size of the position in the base currency. Column N is the gross profit or loss of the trade. Columns O and P are inclusive of the financing fees, if applicable, and broker fees. Column Q is the net amount of your profit or loss. Column R is the result, and I will get into that in a moment. And finally, the last column is for any brief notes you may want to jot down. Let's go over an example to see how this log would work in practical terms. This chart is the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar, 1 hour Japanese candlesticks. Our simulated trade will get us into a long. We are going to split our 2% position equally between 2 targets. At default settings, this will be recorded in our log. Both entries will be part of the same overall position, so I am going to label the position number as 1 for both rows. I will then enter the base and its pair. After that, in column E, I will select L for long. The risk to reward for the first half of the position is 1-to-1, and the second half is 1-to-2. That goes in column G. The position amount for each entry equal each other at 1%. I then enter the date and time our trade was opened along with the amount of each entry expressed as the base currency, which in this case is the US dollar. Our trade then hits target 1, and we can log some more information. I'm going to head over to column K and L to enter the exit date and time. Then I go over to columns N, O, and P to enter in the gross profit, the financing cost expressed as a negative, and the broker commission also expressed as a negative number. The sheet then calculates our net profit of the position, and I select target 1 as the result. So we go back to the market and see that target 2 has been hit, and we are done with this setup. That being the case, we can finish our log. I am going to enter the link to the screenshot of the chart when the trade was completed in column D, along with the date and time the position was closed in those corresponding columns. Then I will move over to enter in the financial details. The calculation of the second position was a 93.50 net profit. Our entry hit target 2, and my note is good demo. Let's do one more example and then move on to some ideas on how we can customize this to your specific needs. Here we have a short setup on the same US CAD chart. We are going to split our position into 2 equal parts for our 2 profit targets, and I want to risk 2% total. We enter this as position 2 for each entry, and again we record the instrument base and pair. In column E, S is representative of a short. I am going to enter the chart resolution in column F. And cell G6, I will enter the risk versus reward for the first position as 1:1. And in column G7, I am entering 1 is to 2 as the risk versus reward for the other half of the trade. In the next 2 cells, we enter the date and time, and then we move over to column M to put in our position sizing, which in this case would be 5,000 USD per entry. The trade then continues and hits TP1, so we can add some more information to our log, such as our entry time and date, the gross profit and fees, along with our profit target. Now let's assume that after TP1 is hit, we move our stop to break even for the second half of the position. And now we let the rest of the trade play out. The second half of the trade stops out at break even. We can now complete our trading journal for this entire trade. In column D, we enter the URL to the screenshot, then enter the time information when the trade was closed. After that, we can book the profit and fees, and finally we can select SL-BE as the result, which stands for stop loss at break even. But there is so much more we can do with a journal. Here are 6 ideas on how to take your trade journaling to the next level. First, it is a good idea, especially for FX and crypto traders, to have another column that converts your position into your base currency. So for example, on my journal, I have an extra column that calculates the position side of all trades into US dollars based on the spot price when I enter the trade. That would allow you to know exactly the amount of money you are risking at the time the trade was opened, expressed in your native fiat, which for me is the US dollar. Second, it is a good idea to track your time in trade. That way you can get a feel for how long on average you are in any particular position, and you can notice which instruments may get you in and out quicker. Next, adding entry and exit prices to your journal can be beneficial if you want to cross-reference that data with another metric like time in trade or broker spreads, or maybe correlate it to your net profits. I personally track my entry and exit prices, but only for applying it to other aspects of my trading analysis. The fourth tip is just a time-saving measure, but most, if not all exchanges and brokers, have most of this information readily available to copy and paste into your log. So you may want to rearrange your log in the order that your platform has it, so you can easily cut and paste data into your spreadsheet. Fifth, your log should accommodate your trading system and style, not the other way around. For example, in my trading system, I have 3 different levels that I take my entries on, and I make sure to log that. Is there something special about your trading system that should be noted? Make sure to include that in your log. This next tip is kind of a homework assignment, but once you have all of this data into your log, you can create something called a pivot table. A pivot table allows you to analyze and really drill down into what is going on with your trading. Some of the things that I use pivot tables for are: first, I like to know which instrument gives me the most net gains for obvious reasons. Second, another thing I really find insightful is what pairs cost me the most in opportunity cost. I take this into account when looking at correlated setups to enter. Furthermore, it is really important for me to know which time frames my system works best on. So I compare my wins to time frame resolutions, and I can take it a step further to see which time frame is the most successful for each instrument traded. In addition, I like to analyze which instrument and timeframes are more likely to not stop me out at break even so I can adjust accordingly. The list goes on, but once you have all of your data in the journal, you will be completely amazed at what a pivot table will tell you. In fact, you may wonder why you never did this type of analysis before. So how do you get my trading journal? Just sign up for the Traders Landing newsletter. The link is in the description below. You will then be sent a link for your very own copy to use, edit, and improve. Now that you have a journal to work with, check out this playlist for more profitable systems to use it on. And have a great day, because you deserve it.